I like this. Wow.
Over the course of its production, the Luscombe H series has been offered in a total of 8 different models that differ primarily in engine type. Qualifying as a light sport aircraft, most Luscombes are comparable to a Piper Cub, Cessna 140, Taylorcraft, and the like. You'll learn a lot from Larry and Mike, with Larry being a test pilot for Luscombes and Mike heavily modifying his experimental Luscombe, creating one of the most impressive light sport airplanes I've ever seen. The Luscombe has a reputation for being difficult to handle on the ground. After flying one, I would say it's pretty comparable to the Piper Pacer. I hope you enjoy this week's special on the Luscombe.
My name's Larry Wallace. I live in the Valley Air Park in Cotter, Arkansas. Been there 3 years now. I've owned this Luscombe since November of 1995, and it was all in pieces. Knew about the airplane. This one is a little different, being a Larson and a McKenzie converted airplane. It was actually converted in 1963 to the 0320 150 horse Lycoming powered in 1963 up in Oregon at McKenzie Aviation at the time. Basically always been maintained and kept in the West Coast. Since it was purchased in October of 1948. So it's always been a West Coast airplane. The time that I bought it, it was all in pieces. It had been changed many hands of people trying to get it airworthy with no success. So when I bought it, it took me and my sons 11 months to get it airworthy. And so after that, the reasoning for the airplane not being put together all those years was it was not repaired correctly after a couple of incidences. The airplane always made extreme left turns as you're trying to go right. So the airplane came apart many a times, going back into fixtures that people have made shift with no success of changing the left turn tendency. A good friend of mine's father is an engineer out of Douglas Aircraft, so he came and did a couple of calculations, and we figured that the right wing incident was 5/8 of an inch more than the left side. So a quick fix, which only took us 2 weeks to do, was to take the back rear door post and extend it 5/8 of an inch, and brought the trailing edge of the right wing up to match the left side, and it flew perfectly straight after that. Cruise configuration, if you're running 2,500 RPMs with 2,700 being the red line on an 0320, that it'll do 145 miles an hour at full power, but you're burning 10.5 to 11 gallons an hour. With a 25-gallon tank, you really only have a 2-hour range. But by pulling it back and matching other Luscombes with, say, a 65 up to an 0200, I burn typically only a half a gallon more than they do at those speeds. So my endurance goes to 4 to 4.5 hours. Whatever you throw in it, it'll handle. With a lot of flight testing I've done, I've worked for the Renaissance Aircraft Company when they were in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, when they were trying to get the rights to build the Luscombe, and their intent at that time was to build the big engine Luscombe with 0320s, but then the light sport category came out. So then they went and switched over to 0200s, which in my opinion is probably the most ideal power plant for Luscombe. One, you've got the range of the 4.5 hours. You have plenty of climb rate, useful load, and speed. So Luscombes were built up until 2021, and the company was moved from Cape Girardeau, Missouri to Flabob Airport in Southern California. There I was their test pilot for the new Luscombes that they did build, which were only 5 that they did get to complete. As most startup companies, money problems, but they did eventually get the type certificate. So those 5 airplanes were built by Luscombe Aircraft Company. They changed the name from Renaissance to the Luscombe Aircraft Company. Now, it's been a great inspiration as far as getting young pilots to understand, 1, how to use their feet when they're flying. 2, that a Luscombe is a great training, in my opinion, aircraft for them to do that. But no, I've always have a Luscombe. I've taught my 2 sons how to fly in this Luscombe here, so when I get to the point where I can't fly anymore, it'll be handed down to them. So.
Thanks, Larry. Unfortunately, I couldn't fly with him as we ran out of time, but I got to go up with Mike. We'll look at his airplane next.
This is my Luscombe. It's an 8E series Luscombe. It's currently the highest horsepower 8 series in the world. It started out life as an A, became an E, and then I took it to another level with flaps of my own design and an IO 360 engine in it. We're going to go out and fly it in a little bit and give you guys some fun times. It's 230 horsepower. It has 25 gallons of fuel on board, and if I'm not hard on the throttle, I've got right at a 4-hour range. So it's pretty all-around versatile airplane. It lands fairly slow. It will go faster than it should, and we'll find out. Between Larry's 8F and the 8E, the F was just a later version of the E. Some ended up with flaps in the last part of the years. Most did not. The 8E came with an 85 horsepower Continental. The 8F came with a 90 horsepower from the factory. That was the differences. And then, of course, the difference in tail, if you look at the back here, the difference in tail is I've got the round back rudder and Larry's has the straight cut rudder. So those were the differences between the E's and the F's. Otherwise, they were pretty much the same aircraft, same gross weight, just a little bit more power in the F. And then some did have flaps, little flaps. These are more of an extreme version of flaps, but I kind of just decided I wanted to do something different with the airplane, and it is an experimental exhibition class airplane now. So,
All right, well, you ready to go fly?
Let's do it.
Recall, Cherokee 5213 Lima, turning final, full stop, 20.
How long have you had this airplane?
2010 it came, and it was not safe to fly, so it ended up getting tore apart, and a lot of stuff had changed on it. It was a worn out 0200, and then it became a fresh 0200, and then I didn't like the horsepower that a fresh 0200 made, so decided, well, let's do a Lycoming.
There you go.
And then everybody other friends I have that have Lycoming powered Luscombes, they're 150 horse, and they're like, put a Lycoming in it. I said, well, if I want to put a Lycoming, I'm going to put a Lycoming in it.
Yeah.
So I put the 360 in it, which is 200 factory, and then I bumped the compression, poured and polished the cylinders, big valves, poured the one header, everything, trying to make the most amount of horsepower. So it's about 230.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a little bit more than normal Luscombes. I get a lot of people coming up going, what's in this thing?
Yeah, I bet so.
But
Well, you tell me that you got the only one, right?
yeah, it's the highest horsepower Luscombe in the world.
That's pretty cool. You got anybody else gunning for that title, or you think you'll hold it for a while?
No, I think everybody thinks I'm stupid to do it. It's dangerous.
Dangerous like it can get you in trouble, or dangerous like it's squarely on the ground? You're being idle, so it lands just like a Luscombe,
It can
right?
go faster than it should.
Gotcha.
It can go probably, well, it's seen 200 mile an hour before, and it's a
it's
D&E
seen
at
there.
145.
Okay, yeah. These airframes there.
Yeah, it can go.
I got time to taxi and take off. I've got to go pick my kids up.
I gotta go pick the kids up.
Head your way.
Priorities.
Traffic is yellow kid box taxiing down the side. We're about to...
All right, Red Claw traffic over Luscombe's on the roll for 20. Red Claw. Here we go.
Woo!
remote?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time do we get on for taxi for Patron?
Okay, whoever it was just made a call. So we'll do the next span. Okay, they'll let the hold it.
I like this. Wow.
Okay.
Holy shit.
You take the controls. You got them.
I got him.
So get the feel of it. Do some turns. Let's go out away from
Yeah,
that
good
clock.
way.
This is Stearman flight lead.
I've never felt that way in a light airplane before.
Far to the left as you can.
I'll stay away from that tower.
Yeah.
10-4, headed out. Harvey.
So it's a very rudder-sensitive airplane.
Okay.
That's why I say go out, do some turns, get really familiar with it. It's a very sensitive airplane. That's why I say you should get Luscombe time. When I said you should get Luscombe time,
Yeah.
they make you a better pilot. The wise tale is if you can fly a Luscombe, you can fly anything. It's honest to God truth. It really is.
You know, I've heard that. How does it compare to the Piper Pacer or the Taylor craft?
It's so they always say if you're going to go into a pits, like get a pits special, get Luscombe time before go get a pits.
Good to know.
That's what they say is that.
Pits, everything's happening so fast. Now, what's your landing speed in this airplane?
We'll probably do an approach about 55 under the flap, maybe dragging just a touch of power. It'll kind of be sinking, and then we can get down the ground effect. With low power drag, we'll probably see it at 40 when we touch down at final.
Okay.
So it's a nice overall. It's got a lot of envelope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And does she prefer tail wheel or 3 points, or does she prefer wheel landing?
I like 3 points on a rough surface like that, you know.
Yeah.
Are you kind of a 3-point girl too?
I am, but not in the Waco. In the Waco, I'm a tail or wheel landing gal, just because that the tail horns on those tail wheels are real weak, and I've bent some 3-point in the crosswind before. It's just a bad day. So.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, the way it's engineered really isn't the strongest for that.
Gotcha.
Now, these airplanes aren't aerobatic, are they?
They are, but they're not. They're not like rated to go out and do aerobatics, but they're 6+, 3 negative.
Okay.
So you could, but it's an older airframe, so I don't do that. You know what I mean? If it was new and fresh, yeah. I'll do wing overs with the kids or something. If I'm taking kids rides, I'll do wing overs. But keep it all low G. Oil pressure. I like oil pressure. It has 100 pounds of oil pressure.
Okay.
That's 80. It just pegs it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's all right. I love oil pressure.
Yes, me too. I'm constantly watching mine.
It keeps things moving, right?
Yep. You're not kidding about that rudder.
It's sensitive.
Reclaw Airbus, Stearman honor flight is going to be departing 20.
How fast do you fly in the Waco? What does it cruise at?
110, 115.
Yep.
It just likes to putt along. It's a big old draggy thing. So.
Yep.
And it just drops out of the sky. This one seems to me like it would glide a little bit.
It likes to go faster. Yeah. And we're pulled way back. Look at how much throttle I have left.
Wow.
See? Here, watch this.
Yeah, that's got some.
Yeah.
Probably more so than the average Luscombe you'd find on your airport. That's
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a unique one. It reminds me, have you flown the Piper Pacer before?
Yes.
Okay. It kind of reminds me of that, but I haven't been in a Pacer in a couple months, so maybe I'm totally off.
No, they're short coupled, so you're going to have a lot of that feeling. I would say that the rudder, though, is actually a little bit more sensitive on this.
Okay.
I've noticed that you're kind of doing a little bit with the rudder.
Yeah.
Getting the feel of it. I was backed out of the power so much.
Why don't you show me a stall? Here, you got it.
No, you do it. You show me a stall.
Okay, all right.
Bring it back to like 1,000 RPM. Give me a little bit of a low power stall. Yep. You're going to laugh. It doesn't stall. It's going to go into tail mush before it stalls. Yep. You better bring up the angle of attack. Bring it up. Go ahead and bring her back. It won't stall. You won't get it to do it.
Wow.
Go ahead and give me a higher angle this time. Do it. She's so docile, she'll just gonna fall through. Keep coming back, full stick back, full stick back. There it is.
Wow.
It's just so easy to fly, and it gives you all kinds of time
Yeah.
before it does
For that
anything.
recovery, definitely.
It just gives you all kinds of time.
What was your cruise setting? 20?
Yeah, 200, 2200, 21, 21. We're just
Okay.
butting around.
All right. Have you spun her before?
Look at that. Climb. Yep. I don't spin so much anymore because it doesn't really stall the wing anymore. And when you can't stall the wing and get it to go into a spin correctly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to load the airframe a lot.
It makes sense.
You know, it is old. It's 70 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would want to.
Like you're still climbing. It's crazy. It's just, there's your trim right here underneath
Yeah,
the flap. Right
okay,
there's
gotcha.
your trim.
And we'll give you a minute.
It just keeps climbing, yeah.
River traffic, Cessna 19374, 10 miles to the south. Landing.
Now, remind me where you're based out of.
Nebraska.
Nebraska, that's right.
Yep.
So did you fly all the way down from Nebraska?
We went to Arkansas, 400 nautical miles, and then we picked up Larry, the one you did the interview with.
Yes.
We picked up Larry. We stayed the night at his place, him and his wife, and then we came there from there to here, which was 300 nautical miles.
Gotcha. That's a nice little trip.
Yeah, 700. Yep. We've done 1,000 in a day.
Wow.
With this airplane. Took 10 hours. That's not too bad.
No, not bad at all. I had a ferry. I took a Cessna 150 tailboat conversion, the David Lowe conversion.
Yeah.
And the thumbnail for that is, I flew 800 nautical miles in a day. And then I thought about that. I'm like, that sounds really cheesy considering I think I've done 1,200 before. I've flown 12 hours straight in a cup before. That's no joke.
That's a long way.
It's a long way. A lot.
It's awful. I'll give you some movie map if you want.
Yeah, sure. Now, are you on an airport or do you have a private strip or?
Yep, private strip.
Private strip, nice.
Yep.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Well, it is. Yeah, I like it. My wife likes it.
Unless you get crappy neighbors.
My closest neighbor's a mile.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, man, you got it made.
Yeah. 2,600 foot grass strip, big hangar to work out of a shop. I take care of the flight school.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
by me.
Are you an AP?
IA.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Also, then maintenance costs. I was going to ask you kind of cost of operation for obviously this airplane's cream of the crop. It's going to be a little different. But for your average Luscombe, what would you say it is as a mechanic?
It's actually, Luscombes are some of the lowest expense of owning.
Okay.
They're very good. The basic service is landing gear stuff. You know, I mean, you grease the landing gear, inspect the landing gear.
Right.
Tail cranks, you know, whatever, aileron bushings, you know, that kind of stuff. Cables, inspect cables, ground pulleys, of course. Cable fraying on the rudder pedal cables is a problem with these, but this one is different now that it's got the toe brakes in it.
Right.
It's a totally different
So
routing
stock
cable.
their heel brakes.
Stock their heel brakes.
Okay,
That
gotcha.
is correct, and only on the pilot side.
Gotcha.
Yep.
You know, I kind of like that.
You like the heels?
Yeah. Oh, no, I like the fact that they're only on the pilot side.
Yeah.
Can't keep somebody from... At the Waco, I've got toe brakes in the front.
Oh, yeah.
And my constant fear is that somebody's going to decide they've got a, a death wish or something, stomp on my rudder, or stomp on my brakes when I'm landing. Luckily, it's never happened, but...
Right. Yep, I understand your fear is that because you don't know what they're going to do if they get panicked or whatever.
Definitely not. Well, tandem, you can't exactly whack them easily, so...
Yep.
I'm going to do a turn around the pointer on this house.
Do it.
I'm probably going to suck, but
That's all right.
I don't know where my winds are coming from.
And it's 7 jumpers in 2 minutes. 2 minutes of jumpers. You crossing the area 9,000 below. And
So do you have any stories in this airplane? Anything interesting that's happened to you?
Patty Wagstaff flew this airplane before I owned it. Before I owned it.
It was hers?
No, it was Bill Hoskins, and her name is right there by your knee.
She signed it. Oh, that's so cool. I'm going to have to get a picture of that.
Yep, she flew. It was not a very pretty airplane,
The go when you're
but Bill took it to Columbia, California before I ended up with it. And he had a great story when he was coming back across the Rockies.
Yeah.
He was doing that during the afternoon, and it hit such a thermal. He come up and he hit his head so hard that he got a bleeding head.
Oh no.
So Luscombes are well built. They take a lot of abuse, but yeah. As far as the stories is this, my dad was a Luscombe guy, and so I grew up flying a Luscombe 65 horsepower ragwing airplane. It's got Casper the Friendly Ghost actually painted on the side of it.
No
And
way.
it was always that way. When Dad got it, he put Casper on it, and it was always that way as long as he has ever owned it. So I grew up flying Casper, and it was great, and it was cute and all that. And but I grew up flying 65 horse, and I'm a guy that likes a little bit of power. I got fast cars, you know, that kind of stuff, horsepower stuff. And so a 65 horsepower Luscombe, I'll back down a little bit. 65 horsepower Luscombe doesn't really fit my, you know, need. So when I got this, and I just kept, you know, like thinking, well, it needs more horsepower, So that's why I did what I did. And then Dad, even though he got Alzheimer's, which kind of stunk, one day he had a really good day one day, and so he was like, hey, you still fly? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I said, you want to go fly? And he goes, no, we don't need to. I go, no, let's, because, I mean, he could barely form a sentence at that time.
Yeah.
And then he's talking like normal. I'm like, no, let's go fly. So we took him out in this. I let him fly right seat and I let him do the takeoff. He flew it like he flew a Luscombe all of his life. You know what I mean? I mean, it was
amazing.
so neat.
What's that muscle memory kicking in? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so cool. It was a great day. And after that, of course, he just faded away quickly. You know how that is. But
Yeah.
his comment when we opened up the power to take off, he goes, wow, this thing really goes.
Yeah, I think too often people get all wrapped up in the airplanes, and a lot of times it's not even about that. It's about the people, you know?
It's about the people, the memories. So on the back of the tail is a memory of Dad. In remembrance of Dad on the left, and on the right it's Howard Hollinger, which lived in Dallas, Texas. And Howard was a deer man. That was a Luscombe guy, and he courted his wife in his Luscombe, which became the world's smallest airline. It had WSA on the side of it. He painted it on there, and it meant world's smallest airline because he went back and forth from Austin to Dallas every weekend to court his wife.
See, stories like that give me faith and love. I tell you what.
Yeah.
My husband didn't have to work that hard. Golly.
Yep. It probably has a service ceiling now. I'll never find this out, but I would say the service ceiling's probably over 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm never going that high, though.
Yeah, that sounds pretty uncomfortable. Unless you want to be on oxygen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm never going to go that high. I think he said 415. We're at 4, so we got
gain a little altitude. Terrain's picking up here. So what?
Yeah, go ahead. Put in all the power. Feel what it does. Give it all. Give it the beans.
Wow. That is a nose high attitude right there, and she's 85. Wow. Is that what you like to climb at, 80, 85?
Yeah, that's fine.
There's, what, 500 feet? Crazy. There we go.
Okay. I think that's Recklow with the smoke.
Yep.
Recklow, non-golf here.
See the smoke out there?
Yeah, I see it. And does your wife fly?
I want her to. She's been just starting to kind of take the controls and went on our long cross countries and fly a little bit, which is great. I was like, Mary, you just need to learn, because I think it'd be great to see a YouTube channel with you taming the tail dragger in Wonder Woman. How cool is that?
Absolutely.
Learning to fly in the highest horsepower Luscombe, right?
Oh,
How fun
absolutely.
is that? And she's like, I don't know.
Wow.
Come on.
Take her to one of them courses so she at least knows how to land the thing if something happens to you, you know?
Stand for me, please.
Look at this
Heck
smoke.
yeah, this is awesome. Oh, this is going to make a great shot. 1,200 feet that fast. In a Luscombe.
In a Luscombe. There you go. Silver Luscombe, left downwind 20, we're going to full stop. Okay, so close the power back, set us up at 65 miles an hour.
Right now?
Yep. Traffic, Silver Ultralight, get ready to depart on 20 for right close traffic. Let her rip, Peter Chip.
Full power all the way, set us up 65. And this is what I love about the big flaps and the longer wing or the wider wing is it doesn't come down.
I think my seat's too far forward, so I can't mess with the trim, but I'll just, I'll muscle it in.
Right RV, short final,
there's
a little something taking off.
Right there, short final. Look at that, how
Wow.
it doesn't come down.
Yeah, she just glides.
It glides. Way different than other airplanes, right?
100%.
It just glides.
Right clock, right. Departing 2.
Right clock traffic, Silver Luscombe, on left face, 20, full stop.
Up front of it, no biggie.
Cool. I'm going to pull flaps. Ready?
Yep.
There's one notch. And we got to slow down a little bit more if we're going to put the other notch in.
Gotcha.
So nose up. Yep, nose up. And once we get to 60, I'll pull them in.
Did you say something about right traffic?
There you go. Yep, keep her slow. 55, just like that. You just drag a little power if you need it. And if it's going to sink out, you just touch the power, right?
If you're in the pattern to land, go across and do left.
You want to touch down like by halfway? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you do what you want to on the west side. Oh, I see you now.
Looking good. Looking great.
I'd rather you go across.
A little bit of power, just bring in a little bit.
You know, whatever, just make sure
There you go, a little
nobody
bit.
don't finalize.
A little less.
See final or base down there. 10-4.
There you go. Little left pedal. Keep us over here to the left. There you go. Beautiful job. Nice job. That's rough.
Traffic.
Yeah, real rough. Makes you feel like you did a bad landing.
Yes, no kidding.
You're on the brakes, so you got the taxi.
I got him.
You got it.
Yep. How we doing over there, right? Clear?
Good. Yeah, you're clear.
Okay.
Yeah, a little too much power on that recover cushioning there. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
well, no, that's the thing is you don't expect it, but it's got so much prop and so much horsepower.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Cutter. You're real weak.
Well, thank you so much. That was a blast.
Heck yeah. Well, you got to fly Luscombe now, so what do you think? You know, own one?
Oh, man.
You need to.
Yeah, I want one.
Larry, Mike, thank you guys so much for flying with me. We didn't fly your airplane, Larry, but we got to go up in Mike's.
Yep.
Hold on, we got some background noise there. But yeah, that was a blast. And so you're from Nebraska and you're from Arkansas?
Arkansas.
I remember from earlier. Awesome. Well, is there any way where that you guys would like to be shouted out on for Instagram? Y'all have any Facebook, YouTube pages or anything?
No.
No?
Facebook.
No? Just flying under the radar then.
Yeah, flying under the radar.
Yeah,
All right, well, y'all saw it here first then. We got 2 Luscombes. They're beautiful. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the footage. Like always, you can come find us on Patreon. We appreciate all of our patrons, and we'll have some exclusive footage from Reclaw also on Patreon for you guys to check out. So all right, we'll see y'all next time.
We're out.
All right.